Hi everyone, welcome to a special Saturday stream, I guess you could say. I didn't do one yesterday. I was planning on doing one yesterday, but I got sick. I ended up being in bed all day. I was in bed most of the day today as well. Feeling a little bit better now, so I'm like, okay, I gotta get caught up a little bit on all that stuff that's happening here. Otherwise, maybe fall way too far behind. So I apologize in advance if I sneeze, if I have a sniffle, or if I snort for some reason. Trying to breathe because I still have mucus coming out. But I'm doing better, which is good. Feeling a little bit better than I was feeling just this morning. So that's a good sign. I think I'm maybe getting over it. But we have a couple of things to talk about. Obviously, miners did fantastically well last night. Yesterday, Bitcoin did okay. Bitcoin was only up slightly. The miners did like 10 to 15x on top of Bitcoin would have did. So what does that mean for us? What's going on there? We have some news stories on Mara providing their production update along with TeraWulf. They had really good numbers there. A little concerning number with TeraWulf for one thing. We'll take a look at it there. And then we also have some stories on BitDigital as well. BitDigital has, a story that came out the 31st. And hold on while I silence my phone here just in case it starts ringing on me. But that's kind of what we got going on. We'll take a look at anything else that's happening there, and we'll get into your guys' Q&A. So bear with me here. I know my voice isn't the greatest here. I did update the settings on my microphone and my, controller. Hopefully the sound is a little bit better, but even though with my voice being low and probably doesn't help anything. So let me know how that sounds at all. But as always, you guys know the drill here. Not financial advice for entertainment only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe, especially for the new people that are coming in. Helps me out tremendously here. And that way you stay informed of what's going on here with the miners and everything else. Let's take a look at quickly Bitcoin, what happened here yesterday. Like I said, I was planning on doing a stream, but I got sick, unfortunately. Bitcoin was up just a little bit here, was up 1.27%. The miners, on the other hand, oh my gosh, they had a great day. But going back to Bitcoin here, Bitcoin was at least up above the 50 simple day moving average and stayed above there. So right now we're looking pretty good here. If it holds above that, I think we might have a continuation of an upward trend here. If we fall below that, I think we might still be coming down to like the 85,000, 80,000 mark, somewhere around there before everything is said and done. So something to keep an eye on there. Miners, for the most part, did really good here. MicroStrategy, same thing. MicroStrategy was up 13.2%. Nice candle on Friday here. Bitfarms was up 6.8%. Did pretty good as well. BitDeer up 14%. Right, it's kind of getting back to its previous all-time high here, which was nice to see. Cypher was up 15% as well. Cleanspark up 14%. Very nice candles here. CORZ was up 6%. Hive was up 7%. Hut 8 was up 10%. IREN was up 8%. Mara was up 14%. Riot up 17, almost 18% there. Wolf 13, almost 14% as well. 14%, yeah. So the smaller miners did pretty good here. Mawson was the only one that was down. BitDigital was up nicely, 18%. That one had some good news stories that came out on the 31st. We'll take a look at that, what that all means. But so what's going on with the miners, right? The miners definitely are front-running Bitcoin here a little bit right now as it is. We historically do see that happening sometimes, especially in the bull run, where the miners will start to front-run Bitcoin, especially as Bitcoin is going up in value here. So could this be the beginning of that front run happening here with the miners? It might be. I think it might be just a little bit too early to tell. I think, one, the taxless harvesting is over with. I think some of the short positions might be changing their minds on the miners, especially as we get closer to them reporting their Q4 results here, which should be really good for them for the most part. And that's basically it. I think the sentiment is going to be changing there with them because they're going to be generating so much more revenue. We'll take a look at like Marathon's and TeraWulf's numbers for November, right? What is that annual run rate there based on that? And it is much, much better than what we had in the past year, right? So that's kind of the reason why I think the miners are running right now is just sentiment is changing, and it's changing for the positive instead of for them being beaten down all the time, especially Bitcoin being up around these levels right now. So I would definitely love to see this happening a little bit more forward or further. And that would be a good sign that maybe this is the start of that process where the miners will start running Bitcoin here quite heavily here to get to probably valuations that they probably should be at right now. Okay. So that's it on that one. Going over here, we got the network hash rate. That's not it. This is the one. We can see here that on the 7-day average, we got to 817 exahash here. This is the highest we've been here ever. That's the new high here on the 7-day average for the network hash rate here. It's down a little bit here now on January 3rd. It's down to 806. So we're still above 800 exahash, which is kind of where I thought we were going to be here by the end of the year. got pretty close to that on the 30 as well. The end of the year here came in at, where was it? December 31st, 777 exahash. I was calling for 800 to 900. I was off by 23 exahash. Not that bad. When I said that beginning of the year, basically, of 2024. So really happy that came out, and happy that my numbers were close. It's not that great for the miners because as the hash rate goes up in value, or in, what do you call this value? And I guess it would be value, in numerical value, the less that they generate, unless they're actually keeping up with the network hash rate there or doing much better than the network hash rate growth. Okay, so that came in good. Going down here, we got Bitcoin here on January right now being up 4.74% roughly. The miners are definitely outperforming right now. We'll look at those numbers tomorrow when we look at the miners versus Bitcoin for the past week here. Those should be pretty good for the miners, and the most part, a lot of them were up nicely, almost 20% plus on some of them. So that's looking good. Bitcoin ETF inflows here. We actually had a down day on Thursday, 242 million. And that was mainly attributable to BlackRock. It was down 332 million, bringing everybody else down here, looks like. But on the Friday, yesterday, we were up 908 million. So it was definitely a nice day there as well on it. So let's get into the couple stories that we do have here. First one we're going to do is on BitDigital. So BitDigital executes a master service agreement for 576 H200 GPU deal with DNA AI Compute Fund. On that one, so today it has executed an MSA with a new client, an AI Compute Fund managed by DNA Holdings Ventures, which provides for 576 NVIDIA H200 GPUs over a two-year term. The country represents an aggressive revenue opportunity of approximately 20.2 million for BitDigital and is expected to commence in February 2025. So BitDigital is doing really good here with all these little smaller contracts for HPC AI compute. We've seen a number of these being executed here in the past year alone, and they're going to be getting to their run rate of $100 million in revenue just from HPC's business. So that is really good news there. Let's see, this announcement builds on the term sheet previously signed and disclosed on November 20th. Under the terms of the deal, BitDigital will supply the customer with 72 H200 servers, 576 GPUs for an initial 2-year term. BitDigital will fulfill the contract with GPUs that are currently on order and awaiting delivery to a third-party data center in Iceland. So they're not using their own data center for that. They still should have really good margins on that, I believe around 70% or something like that. And then earlier this month, BitDigital placed a purchase order for 130 H200 servers or 1,040 GPUs for approximately 30 million. The company anticipates deploying the remainder of those GPUs to separate customer contracts. So they are definitely doing all the right things. It looks like the stock is getting repriced on that, as we saw on Friday, yesterday. The stock did really good. This contract is a meaningful step toward achieving our long-term goal objective, while we now expect to reach our 100 million annualized revenue run rate goal for our HPC business in early 2025. This timeline reflects a deliberate strategy to prioritize high-quality revenue opportunities and disciplined capital management. As we navigate a significant chip upgrade cycle, we have been selective about the deals we pursue, focusing on the right customers, favorable terms, and pricing, and they have done a really good job here of that. So, excuse me, $100 million revenue, that's great. At about 70% margin, you're looking at $70 million in margin, right? So that's looking good depending on their overall costs and everything else. Might be a little bit lower, but it still should be really high here. And then about the DNA Fund here, the DNA Fund Holdings Venture Inc. aims to spearhead the next wave of financial innovation by seamlessly integrating Web3, cryptocurrency, artificial intelligence, and capital markets. DNA's mission is to create a financial ecosystem that delivers cutting-edge fund management, strategic advisory services, and visionary financial solutions. By leading this technology and financial convergence, DNA Holdings empowers emerging brands to architect the future of finance, transforming the global economy and reshaping the world of capital markets. Kind of interesting there. So definitely a smaller player, but spending a lot to get into the HPC, more into the AI side of things for markets and things like that. So it's kind of interesting there on that one. All right. So that's it for that one. That's kind of why the stock is doing good. So it's about time. It's definitely been lagging here for quite a long time here. Next, Mara here. Mara announces Bitcoin production mining operation updates for December here. They got to a fleet efficiency of 20 joules per terahash. We mined 249 blocks, the second most blocks in a month, said Fred Thiel. Our energized hash rate increased to 53.2 exahash, a 15% improvement over November, while BTC production declined 2% to 890 BTC, primarily due to a slight decrease in luck. And that's kind of what I was thinking of last month while they mined for greater than 30 days. I'm like, there's got to be luck associated with it. There's really absolutely no other way that they could mine that much. with the amount of hash rate that they had. So luck definitely played into it last month, and got down a little bit here now. So numbers look a little bit better on the daily, the days mined for the month of December look much better. They're not over 100%. Let's see here. While some of our Bitcoin and hash rate was acquired outside of our own pool, Mara Pool achieved an impressive annual hash rate growth of 168% in 2024, exceeding Bitcoin's network growth rate of 49%. So that is true, right? So that's kind of what we want to see. We want to see miners growing more than the network hash rate is growing. That way they're taking away market share from somebody else. In 2024, we acquired 22,065 Bitcoin at an average price of 87,205 and mined an additional 9,457 BTC. Our year-end BTC yield per diluted share was 62.7%. Overall, we now own a total of 44,893 Bitcoin, valued at $4.2 billion based on spot price of 93,354 per BTC. Of note, as of December 31st, 2024, we had 7,377 BTC loaned to third parties, generating additional return for us stakeholders. I'd like to know who those third parties are. Are those the ETFs? Are they getting those loaned out to them? Is it somebody else? I mean, who else are you loaning it to? Right. And, little worried about when companies loan out BTC because of what happened last time with Three Arrows Capital, FTX, others as well, stuff like that. So hopefully those are very, very reputable third parties there. So like BlackRock or somebody like that. Okay, I'm not too worried about that. Going down here, as far as their numbers here, number of blocks won, this from our pool is 249, which is what I also saw. BTC produced was 890. I have them. They also have a joint venture in not Abu Dhabi, is it Abu Dhabi? No. One of those countries over there. They have a 25% stake in it. I think it's like 1.7 exahash that they have there. So I took that out and got to 800 something. We'll go over the numbers here in a second. Energized hash rate was 53.2 exahash. And that's basically it here. So a really, really good month for them. Really great month, actually. Continuation of what we saw in November, which is nice to see. 2 months in a row where they're operating close to 100% uptime, which is fantastic to see. But let's take a look at Marathon here really quick. Marathon has about 321 million shares outstanding right now. Market cap 6.3 billion right now. The performance here over the last 12 weeks has not been great. If you went back for 12 weeks, you're up about 14%. Current hash rate 53. I think future hash rate right now, as what I have, is 54. I really don't know. They haven't reported anything as far as what their growth is going to be going forward. So that is I would say that right now they're pretty much tapped out from what I have. On it, Bitcoin HODL 44,893. That's valued at 4.4 billion. Market cap to HODL is 69% right now. And each share is about $13.71 of HODL position in it. Stock is at, what is it at? 1964, right? So that is just ridiculous. They should be valued much higher from where they are right now. BTC self-mined did decrease a little bit here based on the number from the JV, right? So I took that out. That was 867 because the JV is now reported as revenue. So I always take that out for them and anybody else. And then revenue here came in at the highest that they've had here in pretty much probably history here. 85 million here in December revenue. So that's really good. Bitcoin HODL, like we talked about, tremendous increase here this year for them. And that hash rate has also increased tremendously here to 2x basically from the start of the year. Bitcoin sold. They haven't been selling anything. I mean, they sold a little bit here in December, January, March, April, May, and then they were just buying ever since May after the halving event here in April, with 1 month exception. From basically June onward, they've been like buying more of it, it seems like, and a lot more towards here recently. BTC per exahash efficiencies down to 16.3. It's still really, really good there right now. Bitcoin sold value, well, they didn't sell. It seems like they bought more on that one. Going down here, we'll look at the numbers here in a second here. Institutions-wise, that increased a little bit here as well to 514. Now it's 174.8 million shares owned, 54.87, so the increase is there. We had a same number of strong buy ratings of 3. Buy ratings went up to 2. Now we have 9 hold ratings, 0 underperform, 0 sell ratings from analysts. Price targets went up to $45 for the high, average to $27.33, and the low went up quite nicely to $21. So it looks like analysts are definitely seeing that these miners here will do much better going forward, which is kind of my consensus as well. Going down here for December here, I gave him about 2.3 million in additional Bitcoin transaction fees on that, which is about 2.73%, I think is what I calculated roughly. And then had the new miners mining it for around 28 days. The rest of the miners that they had installed were about 28.9, so really close to running full bore there. Yeah, just a really, really great month for them. Love seeing that. Definitely, that's definitely going to be good for them going forward. And then based on that, where does that actually price them in at? Well, if we look at the last 3 quarters that are actual numbers and the current quarter that we just finished in December here at Q4, I'm in between 1793 and 2690, right? But that's backwards looking. If we look to the future, using the numbers from December times 12 months, we get a different number there. We get a 32 to 93 to 49.39, which is more in line with what analysts are having them at right now, at least on the higher end side or the middle end as well. Okay, so are they undervalued? Yeah, I think they are way undervalued, especially with their HODL. If you just look at their HODL position, and if you value that at 2x, like JP Morgan said, they probably should get valued on that. I mean, that's $8 billion alone right there. And include their revenue on top of it. Yeah, they should be definitely way valued much higher from where they are right now. And as Bitcoin continues to go up, I think they will get repriced on that going forward here, just like everybody else that's doing really well. Okay, so I have no qualms for Marathon, man. They've done a great job here the last 2 months. The only thing I will say is keep it up. Keep the growth going. The only thing I would say is I would like a little bit more update on their growth potential here going into 2025. Where are they planning on getting to by the end of the year? What are their targets? Things like that. They've been rather hush about that stuff here in the last probably 6 to 8, 9 months or so. So that's the only thing that I would say on that one. Okay, so nice job by Mara. Next, let's get into TeraWulf here really quick as well, and we'll get into your guys' Q&A before my voice craps out completely. So TeraWulf announced the December production update here. Here's what we have for them. Right, we talked about the Core 42 deal, so we're not going to get into that. We talked about that already. Bitcoin production, self-mined is 158. That was a really good month for them. Average daily production was about 5.1. Operating capacity now is at 9.7 exahash installed. 94% year-over-year increase, so that's good here. Power cost, this is the part that's a little concerning here. Achieved an average power cost of 62,805 per Bitcoin mined. That's very high. Equivalent to approximately 7.8 cents per kilowatt hour. That's okay. So that's excluding proceeds from demand response and ancillary services. So I'd like to know what if you take that out, but if you don't include that, that is still, oh my gosh, that is really, really high here. And you can see the difference here just from the month ago alone. So if we go down here, Bitcoin mined here for the month of December was 158. In November was 115. Nice increase there, so that's good. Power cost per Bitcoin was 62,000 for December, 41,000 in November, right? So that number there looks much better here than what we are seeing here. I don't know if it's because of the weather being colder, things like that up in, where are they at? Pennsylvania, I think, if that's the reason why. But average operating hash rate was 8.4, and the nameplate efficiency was 19.2 joules per terahash on that one. Okay, let's see here. Prayer added, we are in active discussions with additional tenants to utilize the remaining 178 megawatts of near-term HPC hosting capacity at Lake Mariner, including our inaugural partner, Core 42. Core 42 retains a time-limited option for an additional 135 megawatts of capacity to be delivered in early 2026, further emphasizing the growing demand for our low-cost, predominantly zero-cost infrastructure. In parallel, we are evaluating strategic site acquisitions of opportunities to extend our footprint beyond the 750 megawatt potential at Lake Mariner, solidifying our leadership in the next generation of digital infrastructure. Okay, low cost, that might be a little bit concerning here with the 7.8 cents. It's still going to be profitable if you're doing HPCI and things like that. But it's definitely, I mean, that puts them up at the category of being the highest tier right now per kilowatt hour. I think that puts them up at the highest ranking right now. Marathon, I think, was probably higher than them prior. I'm pretty sure they were higher prior to them. I think Marathon's, I don't know exactly where they're at right now, but I think they're like at 6 cents, something like that, 6.5 maybe. They still have 45% of their miners being hosted. That's the reason for that. But TeraWulf was prior much, much lower than that. They were like at 4 cents, 3 cents. So it was a little bit shocking to see that they're at this number without the proceeds of the demand response. And so I'd like to see what that actually comes out to be. All right, let's see if there's anything else. There is nothing else here. Let's take a look at the numbers here for TeraWulf, and we'll get into Q&A. So TeraWulf has 385 million shares outstanding, and forgive me, I had to take a sip of water because my throat's starting to kill me here. Okay. So shares outstanding is 385 million. Stock price is at $6.22. Market cap $2.4 billion. Performance here over the last 12 weeks has been great, right? From 12 weeks ago, they were still up 31%, but in the last 8 weeks or so, they've definitely come down in valuation on that. They have current hash rate 9.7, future hash rate about 10. I know they're looking to possibly get some more in there as well. They don't hodl anything here. Bitcoin self-mined is at 158 now, increase of 43. So that's still in line with kind of with their average, well, below their average. Their average was 187 for the last year or so, but we had the halving event. That's the reason why. Self-mined revenue, estimated right now, it's about 15.5. It's still not as high as it was back in March of this year at 19.6. On that one, let's see, hash rate combined. Right now, it's just their own hash rate. They sold off their JV, so it's just their own hash rate here as of September, right? That's where we saw the decrease in that. They're at 9.7 here, so nice continuation in the increase in that. Bitcoin sold, they've been selling everything that they mine here. BTC per access efficiency, pretty good, 16.29. That is an improvement over November, so that's good to see there. How much they sold of their Bitcoin, which is pretty much everything. Going down here to the institution side of things here, institutions did increase a little bit here to 307. Shares actually went down to 178 million. It's a decrease of approximately 3 point something million and less than that. And percentage owned is now 47%. So that's down also. We still have the 5 strong buy ratings, 3 buy ratings, 0 holds, 0 underperforms, 0 sells. Price target stayed the same at $11. The average went up a little bit here to $9.94, and the low went up to $9 for them, okay? And going down here as far as how many miners we had running here, I give them 423,000 for, Bitcoin transaction fees. For the month here, had the new miners running for about 20 days or so roughly, and then the rest of the miners were running for about 27.5 days. So they did curtail there a little bit, and I'd like to know what that curtailment actually equates to as far as dollar figures for them. Based on all that, if we look at their numbers here for the last 3 quarters and the current quarter that we just finished in December, I between 273 and 409, right? But that's backwards looking into history. They're at 622. That would give them overvalued. But if you look forward to it, plus include the $108 million in the Core 42 deal, roughly, that gets us to December numbers, right? Am I using December? Yeah, I'm using December numbers plus the $108 million. That gets us to a price of 572 to 858. That still looks like they're fairly valued there. They could definitely catch a little bit more from where they are right now, though, on it. So that is it on TeraWulf here. And that's kind of in line with what, well, I'm a little bit maybe on the lower side than what analysts are. And I think analysts are giving them a little bit more on the HPCI business potential there on that one. So maybe that's why. Maybe they have them also at a higher PE margin. If we get them up to 20, then we're looking kind of the same as the analysts are at this point, right? So $11 to $9 on the low end. I have them at $7.62 on the lower end side of things. So still pretty close on that one. So we'll just do them at 20 for the time being, I guess, until things really change for them. What can I say about TeraWulf? Big thing is nice that they're getting hash rate installed. Like to see them continue to do that. Definitely want to see them execute well on the HPCI business as well. And yeah, that's just basically it. Keep up the execution there, and then maybe provide a little light on the 7.8 cents per kilowatt hour. What is that actually like if you take into the benefits of curtailment and power credits or whatnot that go into it as well? Okay. Yeah, but that's it. As always, spreadsheets available to my Patreon members. Link is down in the description as always for that. You might be able to find a couple spots that are still at $4 and $5, and then maybe if those aren't available, then you got a spot open at $8. Okay, that's it. Let's get into the Q&A. Like I said before, my voice actually gives out on me completely. All right, let's see it. As always, if you guys could preface the questions with a Q, and then I'm going to scroll my way up a little bit, see if I miss any questions. I'm going to work my way down, so bear with me. I will get to all your guys' questions. It's just a matter of time. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to start. Okay, I see a question up there. Question. Okay, we got quite a few questions there. Right. Okay, I'm going to start here. Figure that's a pretty good spot to start. Okay. All right. Why has CORZ been so quiet in the last few months? Not much going on, I guess, right? They're busy executing on transitioning those data centers into tier 3 data centers for CoreWeave there. And then we haven't really, maybe they're in talks with somebody else also. Yeah, but it's been pretty quiet for them. But the stock has been doing actually pretty well here. So I can't say anything bad about that. All right. Let's see. Why did that one pop up? This one. Do you think Riot will outperform IREN because they have a HODL? Yeah, that's to be determined yet, right? We see Marathon getting not really valued on their operations or their HODL right now. Let's see what Riot's at right now with their HODL. Riot's a little bit better than what Marathon is. Riot's HODL market cap is 41% compared to Marathon's, which is, 69, almost 70%, right? That's just crazy to me. So for that reason, I don't know if HODL matters that much when it comes to the miners. And maybe that will change as we go through, January, February, and maybe into March or something like that. As Bitcoin goes up in value, maybe that will change. But right now I'm seeing like it's not being really valued. Not like the 2x that some are saying that it should be, right? Like JP Morgan. So Riot's at 41%. Cleanspark with their HODL position is valued even lower at 30. So they're being valued more on their operations than they are on their HODL position here, it seems like. So you have this kind of weird disconnect between certain miners here. And you see that with miners. Cleanspark has been buying. Mara has been buying, right? Bitcoin here recently. Riot has been buying also. What about Hut 8? Hut 8 bought a little bit as well, and they're pretty high on that as well, 43, right? So could it be that the miners that actually aren't buying and generating the Bitcoin through lower costs and things like that, could they do better? That is yet to be seen. I don't know, but it seems like it that way, at least right now. But it could change. Okay, going back here. Let's see, covered that one. Okay, what else do we have here? Okay. Do you think the miners production in this month was good, and if the market will understand that? Yeah, the production was good so far. We've only had 3 reports. We've had Bitfarms report, Mara, and TeraWulf. We'll get probably Cleanspark, Riot to report on Monday, possibly. We'll see how those guys do. But yeah, the numbers are good, and the revenues are really good. Right, Marathon's got their new all-time high for revenue in a month here. That's definitely going to have to be something that the big guys or institutions think about, especially if they're shorting them. I think they're going to start covering their shorts. What else do we have here? Okay. Trying to find another question. Okay. There we go. Seb, on an interview, Mara CEO said they are aiming to double hash rate for 2026. So, okay, I did not hear that one. So if they're looking to double their hash rate, so you're looking at 100 exahash at that point. 100 exahash. That would be fantastic, right? So I'll see. Can you let me know where that's been at or where that interview was? And I'll listen to it. And if anything, we'll put them down. The other thing would be nice to know is what kind of miners are getting, what's the joules per terahash there, what's the price that they're paying for those things. All that stuff has been very, very hush, which I don't like. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I'm not going to be able to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. I don't even know how to say that or read that. I do apologize. Always grateful for Seb's updates and Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. That is one language I thought that would be cool to learn, or really interesting to learn that. I just think in general languages are really cool. Let's see here. Thank you, Seb, for the effort. Feel better soon. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm happy that I'm feeling better than I was this morning. It could be that I'm also pumped full of drugs right now. Theraflu and Tylenol and all that stuff. Maybe that's why. Maybe when that wears off, I'll be going back to bed. Let's see. What is your number 1 pick for 2025? I still have Cleanspark as my number 1 pick, but man, Marathon with their HODL, if that narrative changes there and they get repriced on that properly, that could be definitely one to watch out for. What else do I have here? Okay. Question, Seb, did you see the article on Microsoft spending billions trying to expand HPC? IREN might be a good opportunity for them. Possibly, yeah. I saw that. I think, 80 billion in the first half of 2025 they're looking to spend that. That is just crazy, and that's kind of what we saw even last year. We saw, we saw Amazon spending like 40 billion, Microsoft spending 44 billion in the first half of the year, and they were spending another 40-some billion. Yeah, so they're on a huge spending spree here. It just all depends on the sites and the deals that they can ink on that, if they ink any deals, or it could be just a buyout. If they're looking to spend, $80 billion in a half a year, putting down a couple $1 billion on one of these miners is chump change to them, and they get all the benefits of it. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, question. Do you think it's okay to just stay in Bitfarms since it's likely going to 10? It's hard to switch it out to Cleanspark or someone else like IREN or even MicroStrategy because it's down now against the others. I mean, that's completely up to you. I still own Bitfarms. I still own Cleanspark, IREN as well. I don't own any MicroStrategy. That was a mistake on my part. Probably should have bought some when it was much lower. Hold on. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to... I still think it should be much valued at much higher than where it is right now. But what I think sometimes doesn't translate into the actual market sentiment on some of these guys here. Let's see. Question. I think that if Bitcoin goes to 150,000 miners, we'll do 2 to 3x. And if Bitcoin goes to 200 miners, we'll do a 5x. Am I being unrealistic? That's kind of what we would normally see with Bitcoin miners, right? Especially when they run up with Bitcoin here. They will front run Bitcoin to a large extent, I think. But yeah, I would think miners should do at least a 2x if Bitcoin goes at least 50%, right? And from there, if Bitcoin goes to 200,000, then yeah, I mean, they're making so much money at that point that they should, in theory, do like a 3 to 5x. Okay. Is Cleanspark to 50 or more very likely in your opinion? If Bitcoin goes to like 200,000, we might be getting to 50 and more. Let's see. MyGian says, HODL miners greater than HPCI miners in 2025. If Bitcoin goes to 200,000, something like that, that could be very well true. Okay, what else do we have here? Question. I'm trying to get a sense of what you think the likelihood is of each. Each of what? Okay, I think I'm from here. Bitfarms to 10 is just as good as Cleanspark to 50 since it's the percentage gains that matter. Thanks. Yeah, I think that's the case here. The only things we need to see Bitfarms operate much better, or at least install hash rate more regularly on a regular time frame. It doesn't have to be regular, but at least install hash rate each month, right? We need to see that. And if they can't do that, that's going to definitely maybe hold that stock down. Okay. Will the Bitcoin reserve be at the state level or federal government, and what will it be used for? Thanks. It's going to be both. What's the gentleman's name there? I can't remember his name right now. I'm going. You guys know who I'm talking about there. What is the name? He deals with all the government regulators for Bitcoin. He has the Satoshi Action Fund. My gosh, what is his name? But you know, he just tweeted today that there's like 11 more states that are looking to announce in January that they're going to be putting Bitcoin as a strategic reserve. Basically, what they're going to do is use it as the same thing like if you put gold in your coffers, right? Gold is supposed to go up over time. So it's going to be the same kind of effect there, I think, for that. Let's see. Bitfarms is promising 2025 if they can deliver. Yep, I would agree there. Okay. Did you hear about IREN's Bull data center? According to Yahoo Finance, IREN recently registered a new large data center project in Texas named the Bull Data Center. I did not. Okay. Question, do you have any estimates on Cleanspark's December BTC production next? Do you see any issue with Cleanspark getting to 24 range if BTC gets to 100? No, I don't think there should be any issues there because the revenues are going to be growing. So I think shouldn't be an issue, right? I believe the shorts are going to start taking off their positions, I think. And we saw that a little bit on Thursday and Friday, especially with the miners doing really well here. So that kind of gives me a little glimpse of hope, I guess you could say, that that's going to be the case. And then as far as the BTC production for Cleanspark, if they were at, let me see what I'm at right now. Let me scroll over here. We could run the numbers on it. But December, I have them possibly mining something like 59 million, almost 60 million. Based on probably, I would say maybe like 61 million maybe on it. So divide that by the average price of Bitcoin, which was like, what, 96,000, 97,000, whatever it was. And you can get the number on that, what they actually mined. And there's actually quite a few guys out there that track the wallet as well. All right. Hi, said, which miners will rank top 3 in terms of revenue for next earnings? For next earnings, you would have Marathon probably being number 1. Cleanspark being number 2. Oh, and then at that point, I would have to look at the numbers, but I think maybe it might be either IREN or Riot. Okay, let me see. Let me see if we can look at those numbers here. Hold on. Let's do this together. So IREN is right here. IREN, we're looking at approximately, actually, 110 million for the quarter, roughly, right? Because we don't have December numbers yet. And I got a sneeze here, so I apologize if I sneeze here. And Riot's going to be 115. So if they provide good numbers, it looks like Riot might be the one that might be better here for Q1. All right, let's go back here. Okay. What is the chance that Bitfarms announces Stronghold buyout and move to US for reporting? Well, I think the chances of them doing the buyout is like 100% in Q1. And then them doing a moving to the United States, oh gosh, that one I don't know. That's a 50-50 for me right now. Okay. Price target for Bitfarms, I think it should be much higher from where it is right now, just based on their operations currently, alone, not with having Bitcoin going up or anything like that. Bitcoin starts going up higher, then they should be getting priced also higher at that point. Seb, when does Bitfarms reach $10 per share? I think at that point, Bitcoin's got to be at least 200,000 plus. Seb, what's the price target for Hive if Bitcoin's hits 125? 125, I mean, that's only, what, 25% from where we are right now. So Hive should be like 50% higher at the very least, I would think. Let's see. Do you feel the sentiment on Riot and Mara is changing to positive vibes? Yeah. Especially because of their operations have been improving, especially for Mara. Mara's had 2 great months now, so that's looking much better. Whereas before, their operations have been, I could say, mostly crap. But they've definitely been improving here recently, so that's good to see. And we're seeing the same thing with Riot as well. So I think that sentiment is changing. Let's see your question. BitDeer is now up to advertising on Pomp's podcast. What do you think of miners that pay podcasters, influencers? It's their right to do it, and people have the right to make money on it, right? I saw Cleanspark also advertising on the mining pod, on their podcast as well. Sorry, my sniffles are starting to come back in. So I apologize for the sniffles. Let's see here. Can Mara surpass its all-time high this cycle? Very possible. Bitcoin going to a 200,000 plus. I think it's possible. It's not too far off from where they are right now. Okay, question. If miners don't move in the next 3 months, what's your thoughts then? Oh boy. I mean, depending where Bitcoin's flat, okay, and then that's fine, right? But if Bitcoin actually goes up and they're flat, yeah, then we're still getting heavily manipulated by the big guys, and I don't know when they're going to let them run or if they will ever let them run. So yeah, but it's just going to be crazy if some of these guys are making, Bitcoin gets 200,000, some of these guys are making close to 200,000 or 200 million a month, that they would be valued where they are right now. That's here. I said, is there a reason why Cleanspark is always the ugly duck of the pack? Riot has done much better, all of them. Cleanspark has been an ugly duck because of the dilution, right? A lot of people pounce on that. Riot has also not done great. If you look at it, it's just last year that didn't do great. Let's see your question. If Microsoft is spending $80 billion on AI, how possible is it for IREN to get some of them, even if they get, let's say, 2-3%? That's 800 million to 2. It depends on the deal that they get there, right? Is it going to be a deal where Microsoft leases the land and they build their own buildings there? It could be something like that. So they're going to get paid on that. That still could be definitely valuable. It also depends on the location. It depends on connectivity there. Do you have fiber, redundant fiber going to those sites as well? If you do, that's great. So that makes it easier. There's just a lot of variables in there, right? And then can they come to terms? What does IREN want for that, and what is Microsoft willing to pay for it? So we'll have to wait and see. Why miner are not doing well compared to BTC? What has changed from the last bull run? The miners, if you look at them from from the bottom, basically when they bottomed out in December of 2022, they've done actually really well. A lot of these guys are up 5x, 10x from where they were. And then I think as we start reporting here the quarterly results for Q4, they should actually do better going forward because they're going to be much more profitable here. Whereas before the last couple of quarters, after the halving event, it was just, I wouldn't say it was a bloodbath, but it wasn't good. So that's always been a catalyst that kind of beats them down even more so. Let's see. Let's see here. Hey, Sip, take care of yourself. Thank you. I checked the agenda on for West Feliciano Council meeting on Monday, 5:30. Only item on the agenda is to discuss and or approve HUT 8. Do you have any contacts for results? I do not, no. Just have to wait to see what the reporters put out on that, right? That thing's going to get approved. I mean, it's out in the middle of nowhere pretty much. So I think it will get approved. It's just, can then HUT 8 build that out in a year? Which I have a hard time believing that they will be able to do that, because a lot of the stuff you're going to need are long lead time items, which are like, already 12 to 18 months out. Let's see here. Do you have the total price for Bitfarms to mine a BTC? If you're looking, the number that I do have for them is based on Q3 results, but the Q3 results also included the payoff to the prior CEO, which then skews into the numbers horrifically. So right now I think I'm at around like 80-some thousand or close to 90,000. If you take that out, that brings them down to like 60-some thousand, but that also doesn't include stock-based compensation or depreciation as well, right? Okay. What do you think of Bitfarms' conservative price when BTC is at at that point, I would think they would be like at $10 at minimum, I would think. But I also think that they would. See, I keep thinking that maybe them being Canadian-based is detriment to them in stock appreciation. Maybe if they move to the United States, maybe at that point that becomes a catalyst to drive them even higher, possibly. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, Terry says here, Cleanspark wallets at 667 Bitcoin for December. Nice. What is that compared to what they had in November? November they had, what do they have in November? 622. So that'd be a nice increase there from them. So that would be wonderful. Okay. What else do we have here? Okay. Question: what do you think will happen when Trump is in inauguration, Nothing Burger, or BTC pump? That I don't know. You would think it would be, pump the news or pump the rumor, sell the news, or something like that. So I don't know. I think it's going to be his business as usual, unless he comes out right away, day one, executive order, hold the 200,000 plus Bitcoin that are in custody by the federal. Was it by the FBI or somebody's got that? I can't remember who. But hold that until they can actually do a law for a strategic Bitcoin reserve. All right. Let's see. Question: would you try to get out of Bitfarms if you got a very good opportunity to do so, meaning Bitfarms goes way up and something else goes down, or at least a lot less or up? Or are you happy to just stay in it? I'm happy to stay in it. I'm going to ride these guys, as high as I can get out of them, but I'm going to start slowly dollar cost averaging out of them as well. Question: apparently IREN is preparing to expand their 1.4 gigawatt site by selling adjacent land parcels to future clients while maintaining control over the operation and tax benefits of the project. Thoughts? Interesting. I don't know. So they're looking to sell parcels of that. Okay. So they would sell like potentially a parcel and like 300 megawatts or something like that to like Microsoft or something like that. And kind of interesting there. Depending on what the pricing they get for it, right? So how good of a pricing will they get? Hey, so what is the chances of Bitfarms will announce HPCI hosting since they aren't expanding their hash rate? Ben's talked about it in the past. I think he said no earlier than 2026. I think is a possibility for them to actually get an HPCI, somebody in there. So it's still a ways away, I think. But it'd be a nice surprise if they did. Let's see. Question: can IREN reach $80 by? No, I would think Bitcoin would have to be like at 250,000. Sorry, I don't have a tissue here with me, and my nose is running. Somewhere around there, I would think. Let's see. I think if it will be approved, council already said yes to a nuclear plant and a craft pulp mill in the same area. Okay, so good. That's talking about HUT 8 there. So what are your high risk, high reward mining stocks, and do you hold any? I do not hold any, no. High risk, high reward, you're talking about some of the smaller guys, right? Like Sato, you're talking about Soluna, you're talking about also Griffin, Griffin, however you want to pronounce it. Some of the smaller guys, I don't own any of those. Okay. Which miners are way undervalued and which are you most bullish on these levels? Cleanspark still is definitely in the top there. I think based on right now what I'm seeing here in the miners, if we look at the enterprise metrics to exahash here, we can still see that Hive is still definitely like one of the most undervalued here, along with Bitfarms, Cleanspark, Riot, IREN, even Marathon itself. Those guys are all still way undervalued from where they really should be. Man. Okay. So it seems like the meds are starting to wear off on me, and I'm starting to stiffle more and everything else. Let's see. A couple more questions, and we'll call it a day. Okay. Talked about that one. Question, is it concerning that these miners are expanding too rapidly, potentially causing them to lack fundamental principles? No. You need to grow as fast as possible to take market share from somebody else and get to scale. If you can get to scale, right, all those other costs that you have for SG&A, headcount, everything else, that becomes much, much smaller, and you become much more profitable at that point. So you need to get to scale. Okay, question here. BTC making a huge run to 300,000 miners don't follow. What's your action? And my action is I'm selling them and I'm going to be done with them. Yeah, I mean, if they don't follow to 300,000, that's going to be ridiculous as all heck. You know, there's just, I don't see that happening, but if it does, that would be something astonishing to witness. With these guys at 300,000, you're looking at some of these guys making $300 million a month, 1.2 billion a quarter potentially. And they're going to be valued at where they are right now. I just don't see it. I just can't imagine that. Okay, let's see here. Question, what's the current total hash rate? Has it doubled from time of halving? Total current hash rate right now on the 30-day average is 780 roughly exahash. From the halving, let me see, where's it at? So we had the halving in April here. Let's go to the screen here. Oh, man. Let's see, halving was like the 19th or something like that we had it. So we were at 615. So it's gone up approximately 30-some percent, 33% if you want to call it, right? From 600, because we're at almost 800 right now, almost on it. We're at 600, there's one up 200. So yeah, that'd be what, 33% of 600 would be 200 some. So it's gone up about 33 some percent. So we haven't quite doubled like we did in 2024, or 2023, sorry. So in 2023, where we started out, where was it? Let's see, October, February, right there. November, December, January, there it is. We started 2023 at 247, and we ended the year at 500. So we pretty much doubled it in 2023. This year we didn't double it. We went up only about 30-some percent, but still pretty huge gain from where we were. Beginning of the year we were at, what was it? Yeah, 500. Right, 500. So now we're at 700, almost 800. So that's 300 exahash added here. That wasn't all added. It was also older machines getting unplugged and swapped out for newer machines and things like that. All right, let's see. Okay. I'll make it to bed, young fella. Tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow is another day. Is it a good time to enter BitDeer? BitDeer has run up like crazy here recently. I don't know if it's, to be honest with you, I still think it's going to go up higher, right? I just don't know how much higher. I think a lot of people were getting into it before everybody else was getting into it. You know, it's at $26 right now. It is, I mean, one of the ones that's actually showing up here on my list as being the most overvalued or highest value per exahash right now, right? Even at current numbers, even at future numbers. Yes, they're going to be growing tremendously in the second half of 2025 and into 2026. But yeah, it seems to be, at least by my numbers, it seems to be a little overhyped. I wouldn't say overhyped, overbought right now. I would just say that. So just be cautious with that one. Buy the dips if you can on that one. All right, let's see. I think I've caught up to you, everybody, and it looks like my program is crashing on me anyways. Yep. Okay. So we're going to call it a day here. Hopefully this works. Let's see if this works. Full screen. Nope. It does not work. It has just crashed. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll do another stream tomorrow just to see how the miners did for the past couple, or this past week. All right. And my program, for some reason, is having issues right now switching between scenes. Or maybe now it's just finally cut up here. What's going on? Has it cut up? Okay. So for whatever reason, it had an issue. What else do we have here? I think, yeah, we'll call it a day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to get some more rest. Nip this cold, flu, whatever the heck this is, in the bud in the next couple of days, hopefully. All right. Love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow.